There exists a creepy bridge in Missoula, Montana. Strewn with graffiti and crime, the California Street Pedestrian Bridge, which has seen multiple homicides and attacks over the years. By my count, looking at the police logs in the archives, this single stretch of riverbank has witnessed at least 5 violent deaths and countless assaults. The locals say that the bad juju started about a century ago. The folklore claims a man jumped from the original structure in 1920, a suicide that supposedly cursed the water below. They say if you stand here long enough, you can feel the imprint of that trauma. But the violence here isn't just a ghost story. For decades, this corner was the home of a notorious bar, a blind spot, in the city where arguments in a parking lot often ended in gunfire or stabbings. That bar is gone, but the energy remains. The chaos of the dangerous neighborhood persists. Just recently in 2024, police were swarming this bridge again, not for ghosts, but for a knife fight involving 3 people living in a tent. In 2023, headlines about weekend attacks had locals panicked and checking their locks, confusing global news with the very real brutality happening right outside their windows. This place acts as a funnel. See, we are just down the street from the Poverello Center, the local homeless shelter, and when the beds are full and the temperature drops, this bridge can become a last refuge for the desperate. Standing here, listening to the wind and the cables, you realize the danger isn't just in the folklore, it's in the shadows. And as anyone in Missoula can tell you, people can become real monsters, especially when they become desperate. Tonight, we are going to go into some of the actual events that happened at or near this bridge. Lest we not forget, Missoula had a serial killer of its own, Wayne Nance. Let's get started. People love a good ghost story. Missoula is no exception. They say if you stand here on this bridge long enough, you can hear the cries of a bride, a ghostly bride that was murdered here. People don't want to believe that when they die, they just rot. Ghost stories make people feel important. But unfortunately, all the carnage that has happened on this bridge is not ghostly. It's historical. It's physics. Let's rewind back to December 6th, 2007. Forrest Salcido, homeless veteran, 56 years old. He was morbidly attacked and killed by Anthony St. Dennis, stomped to death, right here. And his accomplice that was with him, co-defendant Dustin Strahan. Dustin Strahan, in court, said that Anthony St. Dennis raised his legs so high when he was stomping that it looked like he was marching, and that he may have stomped on Forrest Salcido, the homeless man that was here, as many as 30 times. That's not demons. That's not ghosts. It's physics. During the trial, Anthony St. Dennis's attorney tried to say he was a scared teen, an 18-year-old. He tried to say that he did this to make him look like a macho man. See, that's the real evil here. They didn't view Forrest Salcido as a homeless person who was in need of help. They viewed him as a prop. Something to make him look like a macho man. This argument, of course, didn't work very well, and Anthony St. Dennis is in Deer Lodge to this day. But let's rewind back even more than that. To the left of me, there was a bar called the OK Corral, appropriately named, and owned by the Zavarelli family, which is somewhat well known in Missoula. This bar had 2 homicides within about a 12-week span in October of 1985 to January of 1986, right here on the corner, just to the left of me, down the edge of this graffiti wall. The first victim, beaten to death, Michael James Feeley in 1985, October of 1985. And then just shortly after, 19-year-old Kenneth Clairmont. He was stabbed to death. That outraged the community, and the bar was shortly after shut down. You see, there's no spirits involved, just some heavy drinking off the beaten path. Off the beaten path where police could easily view this place, which outraged local officials. But what of the ghostly bride? Some people have called her Karen. Well, it wasn't Karen. Fast forward back even further to 1977. June 10th, 1977. Ann Thibodeau was thrown right over this bridge behind me. You see, Larry Blankney was with her. Larry Blankney's brother was married to Ann Thibodeau. And Larry had this thought that she was being unfaithful. So to make her pay, he strangled her. But strangling is intimate, it's physics. You gotta get up close and personal for that. And so to finish the job, he threw her in the water. Unfortunately, autopsy reports show that she drowned. So that means she wasn't dead when she hit the water. She died from the subsequent drowning right here at the Clark Fork, Right here in Missoula, right here on this bridge. But the list of bad happenings on this bridge are not isolated. In 1988, you had the Feeley events. Gerald Feeley abducted a 21-year-old woman right here near this bridge, beat her, sexually violated her, and basically almost what amounts to torture for 3 hours. The 21-year-old woman did survive, but Feeley was sent to Deer Lodge. Now, Feeley has a connection to what happened to his victim, except in his case, he was beaten to death. 2 inmates found him in the yard and beat him with a baseball bat, crushing in the side of his head. Yes, that happened right here, the crime that led to his ultimate demise in Deer Lodge in 1990. William Goldhen and Douglas Turner were the ones that beat his head in with a baseball bat. See, it's not demons. It's not evil. Sometimes it's just a good old baseball bat to the head that explains things. But it hasn't stopped. As of more recently, in 2023, there's been talk of beatings that have happened here. 2 men they were looking for involved in beating multiple people, beating them up, going over this bridge and ambushing them. And then in 2024, you had a gal at Lions Park at the other end of this bridge, opposite the graffiti wall. Somebody was living in a tent, and she came up with a knife to the tent and threatened to kill them. You see, this bridge is a main thoroughfare. It's a funnel. The Poverello Center, the local homeless shelter, is right nearby. This bridge acts as a funnel for the desperate, the impoverished, the addicted, the poor, the downtrodden. It's not ghosts, it's not demons. See, the problem here with all of its bad history is more deeply rooted. It's socioeconomic on both a local and national level. And that's much harder to exorcise than a supposed ghost or demon. I feel like I need a drink, and not at the OK Corral.